Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices for Wednesday, August 3. So yesterday or over the last few days, we've been looking for a wave forward to pull back. So it's done that. This move to the upside here is really not displaying a nice 5-wave impulse wave to the upside here for that. So we'll need to be a little bit careful. It is possible to put a top in place here, but it would have to jam it up, which is probably not a good thing to do. So it would end up looking like this. But the odd thing is that tops of markets and bottoms of markets never really finish out the way that you would like them to. So we just need to be a little bit careful about this situation. But apart from that, the same with we're still expecting the S&P to move up higher, and tech stocks and the crypto and so on. So they're all in the same sort of all same, different, but same in a way. So we're still looking for this move. Now, look, we may even get a little situation where we bounce down here and then move up here. I don't think it's the case, but we should just move straight up from there. If you wanted to go long again, you can just go long above the top, but you have to get out at 13,650. Okay, that's the thing there. Alrighty. So and then we just look. We could still be in, I mean, in a nutshell, I'm looking for a top to be in place, then an ABC pattern here, but I can't prove that. So if we get this, that's probably wave 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it'll struggle around the top here and all the rest of it. Once that's in, then we'll have 5 waves from this move here. Then we just have to wait. We don't need that anymore. So then we just have to wait and let's just observe. I mean, you can short it, but we'll just have to see what we get, We're going to get 5 waves here for sure, and then we're going to get a correction, a 3-wave rally, and we're going to get another 5 down. But it could go up from that point, or it could just give us another 5 waves down. If we get 5 waves here, then we'll get another 3 over here. So we just need to kind of wait and see what we how it plays out. But we can look to short it. But we have to be careful shorting in it, because basically the market's going up, isn't it? So if you're going to short it, you don't want to look like an idiot. So first of all, reduce your position sizes. And choose carefully, and I will help with that, of course. So if we can see 5 waves here, for example, then we can wait for the ABC correction and short it at the 50-60% and take this leg down. But this leg, it may not be a big bear market. It may come down to this support here, and then it moves up at that point, and that's our ABC pattern at that point, because that's basically what we're looking for. So it's just really, because we're in a correction of a correction, we just have to take it one step at a time and pick and choose what we do carefully. And, markets are not always booming and trending as such. So anyway, that's sort of where we're heading to, looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside. Look, the extension's in wave 3, so that generally means that wave 1 and wave 5 will be roughly the same length. But in terms of the trading levels, we're at the midpoint so far. So that's the 5. 13 is not that important at this point in time, but the 500 is important. 5 is the second strongest number, and then the next number up after the Fibonacci sequence is 1, 2, 3, 5, and 8. When we talk about 8, we talk about group 2, which is the 65 number here, and then the 72 in here, the 13,720, but this number here, the 13,650, is the critical one. That was what the number you'll trade to. If the market finds support on top of that 13,650, then we can climb higher. But to trade to it and get out and wait for support is the right thing to do. And same with the STOXX 50 here, so much the same thing here. You may or may not be in this trade. We've kept the stop out of the way here. You may have taken part profit or something up here. Doesn't matter if you haven't done that. Then taking profit anywhere between a new high and this level up here, the 37.50 is what we'll be looking at for this top to play out here as well. it's not the best looking. Doesn't really, I mean, I can see 5 waves here, 1 2 3 4 5 here, but do we look at that as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5? It's a bit dodgy. You could probably start throwing stuff at me. We could look at this as an A and a B and a C down to here for this. We may have a low in here, but if that's not the case, then expect another low to come in. Not that it's going to bother you, because it's going to bounce off this 65 number, the 3650, and then move up. So at this stage, you can go long above here, but you could also probably go, let me just have a little look at this a bit closer. What's Asia doing? Asia seems to have got an impulse wave up off the low. So that's looking quite good at this stage. It's going to correct though, so well, I'll just show you that anyway. I mean, I'm just using Australia, but you could use anything. So from the low here, we're getting that impulse, so we're going to get some sort of ABC back here, and then a push up. But while that's pulling back down here, then this has got the opportunity to move down here. You know, it might just move down to somewhere here and then push up. If that's the case, then you could actually go long above that high there. But you would only do that if it dropped down here a little bit first, because you don't want it staying in this sideways pattern here. I mean, yeah, you don't want it just popping up here and then dropping for that. So I'll move that out the way. But if it does drop down here, right, then you could put it up there, but it hasn't dropped out of that out of that space yet. The other thing to do here, of course, is always gravitate to the closest largest number, so the 3700s here. So if you're going to go long here, then you need a pattern like this here. If that's the 3700 across here, you want the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So you have to wait for this to fall into place, you know, and then start from the top. You can go long here, go long here, and go long over here. And when you go long up in these numbers here, just check over here to see what the price point is over there as well. But in this case, we'll be using 37 here. If this does move up here, it will move up something like this here. If it does, it'll move up like this here. And all you're really looking for, in a nutshell, it's just the first high. It's that first high above the level. So you don't want to chase that, you know. And once you got that, you may get the opportunity to get a second high in here, and then you just have to wait for that, and then you can move it down to that one. And then if the market's going to go up, then it's going to prove it to you that it's going to go up, and has to prove it to you, and then you take that high out like that. So that also just tells you got support at that level there, that's all. So you can trade long, but you have to get out up here for that. And I'll just leave the stop where it is for the moment in case it comes down and touches this. But yeah, it's sort of it in a nutshell. It doesn't need to come down any further than this, really, in terms of the correction here, and the rest of it to the upside looks pretty good in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 2 3 4 5. So I'm okay with all of that. This will be the A wave, the B wave, and some sort of C wave out of here. But yeah, anyway, 3700 to go long. Over to the FTSE. Once again, we're looking for a move to the 7.5, and we've been also looking at this as a possible wave 4 from yesterday. I don't particularly like it because it makes wave 3 quite short, but that means that wave 5 here needs to be even shorter. So coming into 7.5, 10 or something, 75 12, 75 13, something like that will be about it. So you definitely need to take the money off the table a point or two before that, you know, so like 498 or something like that, you know. But I'll leave that there, and that's where we are. And like I say, tops don't always finish the way that they want. I mean, maybe we've already got a top in here, because as I mentioned, this is not counting very well here. So it could be counted, you could count it differently, and like I said, it's got overlapping wave structures here, but still moving higher. But it may even move higher again. Still, I could look at this as 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2 here. But if that was 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, that would be the textbook way to count this. Then this move here should be much stronger, but it's not, you know. So there's something wrong in paradise here for this. So just be a little bit mindful of that. Let's just go and have a look at the bigger picture. I haven't seen that for a wee while. Let me just get my head around it a bit. Yeah, so we're just looking for this wave C here of A coming up here. So we're working this triangle pattern. Is it right or wrong? I don't know at this point, but this particular pattern here is in line with the US tech stocks movements into the future at this point. It could change and we could just be bullish and go straight up, but otherwise we just want to get to the 7,500 and we'll just chill, and we'll see if we start to get this pullback here. And yeah, so that's the FTSE. And over to the FX side of things. So I won't go into the bigger picture, you know where we are with all of that. We're looking at a top being in place over here. And there's a couple of ways we can, we've had this strong move up this morning and it's chucked a bit of a spanner in the works. If I look at, or to come back to that, if we look at the euro for a moment, we know that the DAX needs to push up higher. So I think what I may need to do is remove this wave 1 here and put an A wave here and a B wave over here, because we were looking at this being 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 building to the upside, but that's just not going to occur at this moment. And to call it wave 1 here is fine, but for an ABC of this degree, of this size, is not such a good thing. So I think as the DAX pushes up, we're going to see this push up here, but I can't take it past that. So we may end up coming back down from that and seeing a stronger US dollar. So I don't know that just yet. This move here, we can look at this, it's got overlapping because that's moved down. Hasn't overlapped this so far, but it's pretty much close enough. So we could label this an ABC for the A wave here, B wave and a C wave, or an A wave here, an ABC. No, I can't, an ABC, no, it's not going to work that way. So we have to go that way. So it has to go that way, and that's that. And then this C wave down here, we could look at that as 1, 2, 3, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, and then so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, pretty small. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I don't know if that low's in place or we've got one more low to come here. But if you wanted to go long, then all you need to do is wait for the first high above the level. And once you've got that first high above the level, then you can use that as the catalyst for the trigger to the long side, if that's indeed going to play out. Because if it's not going to play out, then it's going to come back down this way and have one more low in here. So what we're looking at here is an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and then we're going to move up at that point. Now we could go further up, but this is rather this is too big for a wave, just a normal wave 2 at this point. Possible, plausible, probable, stretching it. So we're going to go with the corrective pattern as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave at this point. So if you're going to go along here, this is major trading level 1. Then we've got 1, 2 and 3 that make up minor group 1. If minor group 1 becomes a tested support with a classic trading levels pattern, well then we'll trade up to 5. Otherwise you want to be trading from number 2 here, the first high above the level, to the number 3 here and getting out. Don't worry about trying to push it much further than that unless you're sort of bored and you're just sort of doing nothing. But that would be it at that point. So just let that set up there with the little classic trading levels pattern, get the first high above the level for that. And that brings us back over to this point here. So if we go back to the bigger picture, the monthly chart here for a moment, this is where we're at the moment with it. On the monthly, we're looking at 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, ABC for the fourth, and up for the fifth. So I've always wondered, do we have a top in play? Well, we had the first move down, which was in 5 waves, which was great. That's a start. It doesn't mean anything too much. It's a start. Like I say, we had 5 waves down, and then we had a correction, and then we're having another move down. But that could just be an ABC, do you know what I mean? Rather than turning into you know, further downside at that point. So this is what we've been trying to figure out. Do we have another push to the upside? That's the question here, you know. See, I think we've got another push down in a lot of the commodities myself, so that could just push this to the upside. We can count 5 waves up here, but it's always pretty easy to extend things a little bit further in all of this, in a trend, because they just really expand on themselves, you know. You just got to find the right way to view it, really. So we need to be a little bit careful in here. So on the daily chart, this is one thing I noted earlier in the day today, is that the stochastics has pulled right back down here. Let's just have a look at the weekly, just see where that's sitting at the moment. Still flying across there, that's okay. It's opened up for a sell thing, so it's kind of there. I just can't prove it yet, you know. We never really had a nice 5 waves up here. Now, you know, if I counted it here as 1 and 2, which I was, and then 3 and 4, I've got overlap here now. But that overlap, you kind of get that at the top of the markets anyway. It's when a market gets to the top, it starts creeping and you start getting overlapping wave structures. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's another push to the upside, but then we'll have to work out how that counts to the upside as well. I'll have to go back to this point here with all of this, which wouldn't be too, I mean, I could easily change that and still keep all the rules intact. But I don't need to do that just yet, because that's not going to help me at this point. What I need to understand is that, are we coming down further, or is this some sort of corrective pattern here, you know? So let's just go into the 2K tick I think we're on. So as I mentioned before, we had from the top here, from the top we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for 1, and I'm happy with all of that, you know. But that could be an A wave here as well, and a B wave, and then we'll have to look at this as a C wave over here. But you know, counting this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then down for 1, and then I was coming back for 2 here. But this area that I've got here, that thing that's from this top here, looking at all of this as wave 1 here, but that's a bit tricky to count that down here, because you can't go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. It's just, you know, the crowd's going to start throwing stuff at you again, you know. So I mean, you can go into WXYs and do all that sort of stuff as well. But what I said this morning in the Australian video is that I'll label this here as 1, 2, 3, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just in here somewhere. Then we need to go 1, 2, 3 here. So I said we'll just let it finish off to the top there, and we'll see if it holds there. We'll keep the stop out of the way. We can bring the stop over here now, because if that's breached, there's definitely something amiss at that point. But if that holds, then we're on the right track again, and we can just continue down, continue our journey. But let's just see. It's been a bit of a wild ride with these shorts in here. This is not triggered yet, but we'll look at that. Was down here, but we'll end up bringing that back up here if that's the case. So there's I need to put my thinking cap on here, and I need to see a bit more price action. And I mean, this affects a lot of things. It you know, the commodities, and you know, the commodity like oil is in like with the stock market, and you know, everything's sort of connected one way or another, and they push and pull off each other, and got to understand all of that. So I'll just mull that over. We'll see what we've got at this point. Yeah, alrighty, I'll leave it all at that. Cheers.